My Heart for the House story has to do with last year. And me and my partner, Ben, were considering marriage at the time. We looked at our finances going into Heart for the House, and it wasn't looking too good. And I was also at a point in my life where I was kind of at a crossroads of where I was going to go next. And I really felt the pressures of having those finances kind of weighing on me at the time. Ben and I had been praying over what we planned on giving for Heart for the House, and we still didn't have a number all the way up to our final service at Maxwell's of what we planned on giving. And so we kind of pulled each other aside and had a time where we just prayed, asking God what our next steps were going to be. And we felt God calling on our hearts to give a substantial amount, probably more than I've ever given to the church. It was really scary because we knew if we had given this amount that likely we weren't looking into marriage in the next year and we would have to wait on that. But we trusted that if God was calling us to that in the next year, that we would see His faithfulness. But after we gave, it was almost like this sense of relief from finances because I knew that I was giving back to God what was already His. And as we went into our next weeks, I'd never experienced this before, but I actually got like a financial blessing from God that I felt was so clearly Him telling me what my next steps were. But I had received a letter of offer from the school for my master's program, and in it they had given me many scholarships that I had not applied for. And in that moment I just called Ben and I was so excited, and I just said, like, look at what God did with our faithfulness. I think for Ben and I, we had not experienced a miracle in our finances like that before that was so clear. And so I think for me going forward, I can look back at this miracle, I can write it down in my journal and read it over and over again because you were so faithful during that time of life that I just know that you're going to be faithful again. And there's no reason to fear when it comes to money or when it comes to giving, when you're giving to God's kingdom. I was saved as a student. I was saved going to Maxwell's and encountering God. If it wasn't for somebody else's faithfulness in their finances or faithfulness in their time and their treasure, that I wouldn't have been reached by the goodness of God. So that's a big reminder to me, even as a student, even having financial burdens, that I could be a part of reaching somebody else and bringing them closer to Jesus. So why wouldn't I want to do that?